Hey guys, it's Rowan here from Smart TV. And you may have heard there's a new HSC curriculum, and that also means there's a new HSC English syllabus. And because English is compulsory, it's one of those changes that is going to impact every single student that starts Year 11 in 2018 and any student that's in Year 10 and below for future years. But what are those changes and what do they mean for you? In this video, I'm going to dive into English specifically and break down those changes so that you're aware and equipped with the understanding of what the new syllabus is going to mean and how you can ace HSC English for your HSC and Year 12. So let's jump in and take a look. So the biggest change that's coming for HSC English is that they've completely scrapped the area of study. So in the past, for both standard and advanced English, there was a common module called the area of study. And that module was based around a theme. That theme was journey, belonging, discovery. It was a broad idea and you had to look at a number of texts through that theme as a lens. Now they've cut that and instead they have replaced it with the new common module. And that module in Year 11 is going to be reading to write. And in Year 12, it's going to be called Text and Human Experience. So in Year 11, the purpose of this new reading to write module is actually about equipping you with the skills that you're going to need for your HSC. There was a recognition that students perhaps were entering senior years of school without a strong enough foundation in, theme identification, being able to, deconstruct a text and do a close reading and identify techniques and the effect of those techniques in creating meaning, and then writing sound structural essays. So the reading to write for Year 11 in Year 11 for both standard and advanced English is focused on helping you develop those skills. Now in Year 11, there are no prescribed texts across the entire year. So the texts that you will do for this reading to write module will be chosen by your school and probably by your teacher. The focus here will be in helping you develop, your ability to develop personal readings on texts. So that's for your new common module for Year 11 in standard and advanced. They have also got a module A and a module B for Year 11, and these are new as well. So module A and B will have new topics and new texts. Once again, these texts for Year 11 are not prescribed for module A and B, so it will depend on your school. So if you're going into Year 11, the best thing that you can do as soon as you can is find out what texts your teacher and school will be doing because they're not prescribed, so that you can start reading them early, because the focus is going to be on a closer study of texts. So what about Year 12? What are the changes for Year 12? Well, yes, there's this new common module, which is Text and Human Experience. And it's pretty similar to the common module for Year 11. It's not structured around a theme or an idea, but it's rather a close study of text. They're wanting you to deeply engage with text and look at, how human experience is portrayed across different texts. So you're going to need to get really comfortable at reading text and understanding the ideas that they express, and being able to then identify and do a textual deconstruction of, the themes and the ideas and the techniques that have been used to communicate those. Now, for Year 12, there are prescribed texts, so there will be a new prescribed text list, and that will be for this common module for Text and Human Experience for standard and advanced, but the prescribed texts are also in place for the new modules, and there are some new modules as well for Year 12. So there is a new module A, B, and C. Now for module A and B, they're pretty similar broadly to the prior modules in the old syllabus, although the names are different and the texts are different. So it will mean that there's not going to be a whole lot of resources available for these texts and these new modules. The biggest change though in the modules is for module C, and that's across both standard and advanced, and it's going to now be called the craft of writing. In the old area of study, in addition to looking at things through a theme or as a lens, you also needed to do some creative writing and you needed to respond to unseen texts. Now what they've done is they've moved the creative writing and the unseen text and they've put it in this module C called the craft of writing. They've also made some changes to the number of texts you're going to need to study, which is good news. So in Year 11, as I said, no prescribed text, but it's expected that you'll engage with a sort of more serious text of a longer nature, probably a Shakespeare, in your Module B, which again was exactly like the Module B, often in the current old syllabus, I should say. Now, for Year 12, for Standard English, there's only going to be 3 prescribed texts, and for Year 12, there's only going to be 4. So what this means is that across both the courses, you'll actually be studying less texts, which is good, but there is a but, and that but is there will be an expectation that you will go into greater depth for these texts. So if ever there was a time where, in the past you could sort of only do a surface reading of a text, maybe get some notes, watch the film and sort of think that was enough to get away with doing well, that's going to certainly change with a bigger focus on, closer readings of texts. So once again, the best thing that you can do is as soon as possible find out what texts your school will be studying so that you can start reading them and getting familiar with them. Now, there is a change as well for English Extension 1. There is the introduction of a new common module which is going to be called Literary Worlds. So there is a change there, although I think that will actually provide greater consistency over the long term for English Extension 1. So overall, there are a lot of changes, and the focus is going to be on depth rather than breadth. And you're going to need to develop some critical skills, the ability to read a text and understand its meaning and identify themes and ideas. You're going to need to be able to do a close reading and deconstruct the text, to be able to find effectively the techniques and the examples that you can use to highlight the effect in how the text creates meaning to you and modern audiences. So, if that sounds difficult and you're feeling a little overwhelmed, we can help. We've got you covered. We've got an incredible team of English teachers, tutors and mentors that can help. We've built resources and we're ready to go to help you prepare for the new HSC English Syllabus. That could be at our campus in Hornsby, which is 50 metres away from the train station, or working with our team one-on-one in your home across Sydney. So if you need more help for English, get in touch with us. Go to our website or give us a call on 1300 267 888. We've got a proven track record in helping over 3,000 students over the last 8 years navigate high school and excel. If you've got more questions about English and what the changes mean, leave a comment below this video. Ask your questions and myself and our team will jump in and answer them to help you. Stay tuned as well for more videos, because we're not just doing a breakdown of English, but we're doing a breakdown of all the changes subject specific for the new HSC curriculum.